Let's go and join Anne in Inverclyde. Anne, thanks for calling. What would you like to say?
Good morning, Nick.
Good morning.
What I would like to say is there is an assumption being made that the vast majority of people at the pro-Palestine demonstrations are not actively in favour of Hamas.
Yes.
My point would be, I don't see much evidence that is the case. I haven't seen any banners or flags saying Hamas, not in my name.
Well, I think you make a very valid point, and I suppose on this I'd err on the side of caution and say it was probably wrong to assume that they are the majority of Hamas supporters. But actually, you're quite right. There's no "not in my name" being put out there, which I can assure you, in many other circumstances, is what people would be doing. Matthew
Absolutely.
I mean,
and that's a really good point, Anne. I mean, I think to me, there should be the banner should say if you've got a Free Palestine banner, it should be Free Palestine from occupation, if that's what you believe. But it should be occupation not just by Israel, if that's what you believe, but also from Hamas.
Yeah.
So it's easy to kind of to want freedom in every sense of the Palestinian people, and I agree, Anne. It would be good. I mean, I don't think we can assume that people support Hamas, but it would be good if people could show that they supported a free society in Gaza.
And can I ask you, one of the questions we're throwing out today is building on what took place in David's show, is like you're in Inverclyde. How safe do you feel, and how safe do you feel for the country?
Well, we've had demonstrations in Glasgow and in Edinburgh. Obviously, they haven't been as large as the ones in London. But I'm beginning to feel anxious. Not say worried, but anxious. Because there seems to be a very vocal group of people that are still in the headlines. And I'm not seeing very much in support of Israel and, what they experienced.
It's not talked about now as much, is it? It's almost put into one side. Oh, by the way, it was terrible what happened in Israel, but... And we're losing that balance, I think. Is that your point?
Yes, I mean, it's almost become invisible now. And that worries me, because when I saw the footage of the tube train, I'm in Inverclyde now, but I used to live in London. So when I saw them all chanting the pro-Palestine chants, I thought to myself, how would I feel if I was a Jewish person sitting in that train?
Exactly.
Can I just ask Anne a quick... I mean, Anne, being in Scotland, Hamza Youssef this week has said that he thinks Scotland should welcome refugees from Gaza. What do you make of that?
I think Hamza should focus on what's happening in Scotland.
I agree.
And I think that's a brilliant
We can all
answer.
agree on that.
Thank you very much indeed, Anne. Just before I go to Andrew in Ayrshire, don't forget, I'm also asking you if it was right for Suella Braverman to use the word invasion when she was talking about the small boats crisis, because a poll out yesterday said 51% of you think it is right. Do you think it helps to call the small boats crisis an invasion? 03444 999 1000. The invasion question, Nick, and how safe do you feel are the same issue? Homogeneous nations have less crime. Eastern Europe, low crime, says Daniel, and goes on in that theme. Let's go to Andrew in Ayrshire. Andrew.
Hi, Nick.
Hello.
Hi. It's about the tube driver.
Yes.
How would people feel if they were on a plane and the pilot came over the tannoy saying that?
Wow, what a superb comparison to make. I tell you how they feel. They feel terrified. That is brilliantly put. I have to say, that is brilliantly put, and you make a valid point. I tell you what, that's almost call of the week as far as I'm concerned.
Just imagine anyone on a plane, when they come to go on about the train driver, his rights, just think about passengers' rights.
Yeah, absolutely.
Andrew, I don't know what else to say, except to ask you the same question I asked, if I may, a minute ago. How safe do you feel at this precise moment, given the backdrop of what's happened in Israel and Gaza, and given the protests that are happening in different parts of the country? And how safe do you feel for the country?
It's not safe. It's mob rule now.
And do you go out consciously thinking, I have to be more alert? It could be a random sort of incident that happens, or does that not yet come into your daily thinking? In other words, does it affect your daily life?
Always. It affects everyone's life now.
Andrew, great call.
Yes, it affects everyone's life now.
Andrew, thank you. Great call. He poses a really good question, doesn't he? He said, imagine if that call from the tube driver had been made and you were all on a plane and it had come from the pilot. Wow, I leave that there. Tricia in Hertfordshire, hello.
Yes, good morning, Nick. Thank you for taking my call.
Pleasure.
I'm a North London Jewish lady, and I want to tell you how bad it is for Jewish UK citizens.
Go ahead.
We have something called a mezuzah. That's a little emblem on our front doors that we are very proud to have. That means this is a Jewish house. It's something that well, I don't know any Jew that doesn't have. Personally, I wouldn't move into a house without it. But now, in my area, people are so scared, they're thinking of taking this emblem off. Now, I can't explain to you how very serious that is. It's very serious.
Can you explain to me, has this been as a result of an increased, for example, local attacks, or is it awareness of the threat of attacks? I mean, we saw about the restaurant in North London, everyone talked about.
Yeah, it's a bit of both, actually, because there's been some houses in my area, and I live in quite a religious, mostly Jewish area. There has been some houses who have had paint thrown at their houses and eggs. Now, that's never happened before. I can't say who did it, but all I know is a Jewish person didn't do it.
It must be frightening. It's cowardly.
It is.
And it's deeply offensive.
I'm frightened to go out, Nick. I'm frightened to
And
go
you're in
out.
Hertfordshire. Do you mind me asking roughly whereabouts in Hertfordshire you are?
Arkley.
Okay, so
Near Radlett.
Yes, no, I know, and this is.
Do you know these areas?
Yeah, I do know. I live in Hertfordshire myself. I'm in East Hertfordshire
okay.
myself. So
I live in Arkley.
Now, just to make context for people, and the reason I asked that question, you know, this is something really classic home counties that you just would not thought would have happened.
Absolutely.
And I think that gives us an idea. Tricia's just given us an idea from that call of the scale of how this reaches just beyond the city of London.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I spent part of my childhood just down the road in Harpenden. So, I mean, you know, for viewers who don't know the area, this is this is a leafy, lovely part of the world, and it's just tragic that Tricia doesn't feel safe at home there, and that is, you know, that's truly, you know, heartbreaking.
Tricia, just for time reasons only, I've got to go to a break, but thank you so much for your call. I mean, already two amazing calls. Thank you very much indeed.
Stay
that was
safe,
Tricia from Hertfordshire. More of that coming up. Nick, I'm not a military change man, but I get the feeling that Muslim gatherings at key sites in European capitals look very fishy. Only London does not police the demonstrations with a zero-tolerance policy. This is a mistake that risks severe violence on the streets of Great Britain. Angus says in Yorkshire, just to back that up, by the way, of course, don't forget France banned them because they were very worried about the number of concerns about them. And the French Minister for Immigration has only said 2 days ago, speaking to other European leaders, that Europe needs to wake up to the fact that actually, given the mass migration challenges facing Europe, they need to accept that there is a threat of terror in these migration of people coming in through these routes.